One, I'm talking on the subject of not quitting. Quit comes to everybody. One of my mentors, he's in heaven right now. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but he said that just about everybody on the planet is faced with suicide. I remember him teaching. They've had the thoughts, the process come to them. What is, you're quitting, right? You figure there's nothing left. And so we all face quit. That is an extreme quit. I get that. But we don't want to quit anything in particular. We just want to quit. Right? We want to quit our marriage, quit our school, quit our studies, quit God. Come on, help me out here. So, quit comes on everybody, and we've got to make sure that you and I don't allow quit to come on. And I love this story for multiple reasons. You can preach on this for about 6 weeks and never take a break and just approach it from different ways. And so I'm remembering so many stories. I'm reminded of things that I've been taught, and I listen when people speak. And so I want to get started with this. And now it happened when David and his men came to Ziklag. And I want you to picture this. You go home tomorrow night, and all your family's gone. Now, that sounds like a refreshing thought if you're just going to get a little peace. But when you realize that everything you own, everything that was valuable to you has been stolen, if it's the wife coming home, your husband, the children are gone, your grandchildren, whatever you counted sacred has been taken away from you. And that's what David's walking into in this situation. He's gone to work. For him, work was war, going and robbing and killing and destroying. That's what he did. And on the third day, the Amalekites had invaded the south and Ziklag and attacked Ziklag, and it burned it with fire. So not only did they take all your stuff, but then they burned your house down and your garage down and your shed down and everything that you had stored up and all your equipment, and it's all destroyed. And they had taken captive. And see, when I get to this verse now, this is the refreshing verse to me. Now, don't jump to a conclusion now. Let me get to my point. And he had taken captive the women and those who were there. From small to great, here's the key to this verse. They did not kill anyone. Do you realize when you came home and everybody was gone and everything was stolen and everything was burned out, but there was no blood on the ground? There was no bodies laying there. Now, if your family's, the bodies are there, then you're in a whole lot more trouble. And a friend of mine, he had gone to the doctor with his wife, and the doctor comes in the room and he tells them, this is a very true story. And he says, you have stage 4 cancer. He's talking to the wife. You have 3 to 4 weeks to live. Go get your house in order. That's a devastating moment, right? I mean, come on, right? You're shaken up. And I remember the profound wisdom that God gave him. And they went out, and he opened his wife's door and put her in a car. She got in the car because she looked normal. I mean, she looked like you and I do. A lot of people with cancer, they can find out they have cancer and they're dead in days now. And so he goes around, gets in the car, and he turns to her and he calls her by name, and he says, now, what's the worst thing that can happen? Well, she calls him by name and says, well, I could die. And he says, okay, if you die, you go to heaven. Now, we're going to miss you, and we would prefer you were here, but you're going to be in heaven. And she says, yeah, I get that, but so what? He said, that's the worst thing that can happen. Come on now. See, some of you need to find out the worst thing that can happen so you can face that. Because I was talking to another individual today. And they said they're under a lot of pressure. And I get it. Come on, right? I'm talking on this and hearing God under pressure, under fire. Who do you know that's not under pressure? I don't know anybody. You can take it from the youngest child. They're under pressure to get good grades. They're under pressure to score goals. They're under pressure to look pretty at school. Come on, these kids are under a tremendous load in life. And so I'm talking to this individual and they're under tremendous pressure, and I took them back to the worst time in their life. And it's unlikely that they will ever face as bad a time in their life again. They're not. They're not going to face a worse time in their life than we were talking about. And I said, if you succeeded through that time, if you could make it when most people are destroyed in a situation like that. I mean, the statistics, I don't want to get into it. I'm not trying to identify the person. If you look at the statistics from that happening, it ends in all kinds of horrific things for everybody that's on the planet that's touched with that. Who's hearing what I'm saying? So I said, if you made it through that, and you did it with flying colors, okay, all the bad things that could have happened, none of the bad things happened, right? So they got 100% in the good. They had this horrific thing take place, but then they scored 100 on best case scenario going forward, and still living and breathing and running and roaring and fighting the good fight and doing all that stuff. I said, so then they said, well, then everything else is easier. I said, no, everything else is easy. It's not yes, it's easier, right? Think of the worst thing you've ever been through. Everything is easier, but the truth is everything is easy if you compare it to that. Yeah. It's not just easier, it is easy. Yeah. Because if it's just easier, you can say, well, it's easier, but it's still hard. But if you make the statement that this is easy compared to this, then what the giant you're fighting today is nothing compared to the giant you've already defeated. Who's hearing what I'm saying? Can you track with this? That it's not just easier, because easier gives you a comparison point of, well, it's not that much easier, it's somewhat easier, I'm not sure how easy. Right or wrong, you're going to be comparing. And I don't want to do that. I want to just say, now this was hard. This was really, really, really harder than hard should ever be. And I made it through hard. Which means this is easy. Now it's evidently painful. I'm evidently going through something I don't want to go through. David doesn't want to come home and find his house burned. David doesn't want to come home and find his wives gone, his children gone, everything that he's assembled over this period of time in his life. This is catastrophic. But just the fact that there's no blood on the ground says we won. Come on. Let me read a little more verse here, and then I want to tell you another story. And they had taken captive, verse 2. The women and those who were there, from the small to the great, they did not kill anyone, but carried them away and went their way. Which means if they're still alive, we can get them back. Come on. See, ladies and gentlemen, if we're going to make it during our most difficult times so that we don't quit, because, come on, we've wanted to quit over a lot smaller things than we've quit. Right? That was facing us before. And you and I have to go back to reality of what we have won. Come on, you face bigger things than you're facing now. Right? You had bigger worries, bigger financial problems, tougher experiences. And this is the worst thing you're going through right now, but this is nothing. Say, this is nothing. This is nothing compared to what you've already beat. That's like fighting Goliath, and then, I don't know, Rocky comes at you. Who cares? I mean, man, you got the giant, you got Rocky. You got them all. You see what I'm saying? I know we're not supposed to beat Rocky, but that's how good you are. No, who's hearing what I'm saying? If we don't bring it into perspective, we'll lose it. Verse 3 says, so David and his men, they came to the city. And there it was, burned with fire. And their wives, we've said this, but their wives, their sons, and their daughters, and they've been taken captive. They're gone. They're removed. Then David and the people were with him. What are you going to do? What would you do when you got home? Right? They were with him. They lifted up their voices. And what did they do? They began to weep. They wept. They're crying. They're fretting. They're sweating. They're mad. They're upset until they had no more power to weep. There was nothing left in them. They're drained. They're tearless. They're so sad. They're so forlorn. They're so forsaken. It's over. And David's 2 wives and the Jezreelites and Abigail, the widow of Nabal, the Carmel, they'd all been taken captives. These are the sweethearts that are getting him through his toughest moment, right? Remember, he's got plenty to quit about just being chased by his father. I know it's not his biological father, but it's the king. It's the man he loves. It's the man he's fighting for, the man he cherishes, and he has done absolutely nothing wrong, right? We all agree David did nothing wrong at this time. He's doing everything he knows to do. He's fighting every good fight he knows to fight. All he's guilty of is doing a great job. Now, David was greatly distressed, for the people spoke of what? Come on, you all know the story. They spoke of stoning him. Now, I want to go back to another story. On December 7th, 1941, what happened? Pearl Harbor was bombed. Devastating, destructive, looked like we were in all kinds of trouble. Looked like it was the worst thing that ever happened to America at the time. Come on, help me out here. Right or wrong? This was horrific. This was awful. And on that day was when Admiral Nimitz was appointed over the whole Pacific Island. And so then on Christmas Eve, he arrived, and on Christmas Day, he went and toured the battlefield. Okay, it's the waters. The ships are in the ground. Men are in the graves of the ships. Still oil coming up from the thing. And you know, it's this devastating. Things are still on fire. And he goes out in a small boat, and he goes out and he checks over the situation. He wants to see what he's facing. And when he gets back in, he comes in, and the young sailor that's crafting the ship there, he says, "Sir, what do you say?" He says, "Well, I'll tell you one thing, son, they made 3 big mistakes." See, he didn't see the devastation. He saw the opportunity to win. Now, this was awful. This is horrible. We're without hope. Come on, our fleet is destroyed. We don't know what we're going to do. How are we going to fight this formidable enemy that's overpowered us and caught us off guard? He says, wait a minute, they made 3 mistakes. Number 1, they didn't destroy the dry docks, and now we can repair our ships right here. We don't have to tow them back to America. See, you see where he saw the victory and what everybody else was seeing defeat? What everybody knew as defeat, they knew is that we were done for. And then he said the second big mistake. He said they did this on Sunday. We lost valuable men, but we would have lost 38,000 more had it not been a leave day, had they not been off to shore. Mistake number 3, just 5 miles away, one Japanese plane could have flown over and destroyed all of the gasoline that was in the Pacific. All the fuel for those ships was there 5 miles away. It was above ground. One plane could have strafed those tanks and wiped it all out. He said they didn't do it. He said we got them beat. And he came back, and of course we won, as you know. But it would have looked like quit if we'd have sent the wrong person. Say, I'm not sending the wrong person. See, you need to be the right person. You need to be the person that's not going to quit. You need to be the person that's going to see the trouble, the problem, the situation, the lack, the loss of a loved one, the money that's short, the marriage that's broken, whatever the situation is. And you have to say, we're going to win. You got to see the winning side. Again, one great man saw the winning side and, of course, took us to victory. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great commander-in-chief greater than that admiral. His name is Jesus Christ. You cannot be defeated. There is no room for you to quit. There is no time for you to quit. There's no reason for you to quit other than you're believing a lie. You've got to get off the lie and you've got to get onto the truth, because the truth is God will never leave you nor forsake you. You will never be without him. He will never leave you. He loves you. He cares about you. He wants you to win. He's designed you to win. In fact, you've already won. Amen. So therefore, you shall not quit. You shall not quit. David has every reason to quit. Now his own people are going to stone him. His own men, these are his warriors, his champions. and they're going to come against him, and they're ready to do him in. But what did David do at this time? This is the key to not quitting. I'm about to tell you the key. You ready for the key? Yes. He sought the Lord. He strengthened himself in the Lord. He put himself before the Lord, because, ladies and gentlemen, in your time of pressure, if you put yourself in front of a TV, you're going to lose. If you put yourself in front of a movie, you're going to lose. If you put yourself in front of a bottle, you're going to lose. If you put yourself in front of a bunch of food, you're going to lose. Because those things can't help you, won't help you, don't help you. They're going to help make you worse, not better. Who's hearing me tonight? We have to fight to not quit. And the only way we can not quit is to remember when we made it through the worst. The only way we can do it is to remember that we always win. Now thanks be unto God who always causes me. Who's he cause? Me. He causes me to triumph. I'm the one that's going to triumph. Why? Because God has already made a way where there is no way. He always makes a way. No matter how bad it looks, no matter what you think, no matter what you feel, no matter what your supporting cast is doing. Come on, there's times our supporting cast, it becomes an anchor instead of a helium balloon to lift us up. They become an anchor to pull us down. That's not where our attention is supposed to be. Our greatest supporting cast is God. Come on. Come on. God Almighty. Almighty. All capable. All knowing. All being. All doing. Who always makes a way of escape. Who's hearing me tonight? I believe this with all my heart. Come on, we fight many battles. I get the fact that we're fighting battles, but if you want to quit and you meditate on quitting long enough, you will quit. And the trouble is, too many of us quit, and we don't quit and leave, we quit and stay. Help me out here now. See, we stay in the marriage, but we quit. We go through a school, but we quit. We stay at the company, but we quit. We stay at the church, but we quit. See, but I didn't quit. That, you need to make that your statement, your command, your thought, your process, because without it, you can't hold steady. Come on, quit thinking about where you're thinking about quitting. I get the pressure. God gets the pressure. That's why I'm preaching the message. That's why I'm bringing the word. This is a timeless message. It's good every day. It's good in every way. It's good for all. It's good for any. It's good for one. It's good for many. It is the word of the Lord. And as the days grow darker, come on. Our politics are a mess. I don't care what side you're on. I don't care what your platform is. I don't care who you believe in and who you vote for. It's a mess. No matter, look at it from any angle, they're both telling you it's a mess. Everybody's telling you it's a mess. Listen, and the church is a mess. And I'm not speaking about any church in specific. I'm just telling you, we're having trouble with the body of Christ. They don't want to go to church, and they don't want to pray, and they don't want to give, and they got things on their mind, and there's more important things. And we're not complaining, but come on, right? In your neighborhood, you've got problems in your neighborhood, and you've got cars that need to be moved, and you've got people growing funny plants, and now it's legal, and there's nothing you can, right or wrong, right? Our society is upside down, and we don't know which way to turn, and we don't know what to do. We have to make a decision that we have already won, because if we don't know that we've won, we'll find ourselves getting moved by what we see, and if we get moved by what we see, we're not going to end up winning. Come on, help me out. All you got to do is drive down the road. Go to speed limit. You will be passed by as many cars as on the road. I mean, the little old lady from Pasadena is in everybody today. Go, Granny, go, Granny, go, Granny, go. Is anybody hearing what I'm saying? If somebody's driving slow, they're probably drunk or one of you believers. Because when you get drunk, you drive slow, right? A lot of times you drive slow. So we get back to David. He has every reason to quit, but what does he do? He takes the time to seek the Lord. And what does he do when he seeks the Lord? He strengthened himself in the Lord. He strengthened himself in the Lord. You got to strengthen yourself in the Lord. You cannot do this on your own. You cannot do it. And you know what? you're more than likely not even going to be able to do it with the people you love. Come on, help me out here. I'm not condemning anybody. I'm not picking on. Come on. We're all great people, but sometimes, right or wrong, it's tough because they don't understand, or you don't understand that they do understand. But at any rate, there's too much misunderstanding to get it straight and to keep it straight. And we feel like we're not succeeding. And once we feel like we're not succeeding, what do we want to do? Then there's no more hope. There's no more reason to carry on. So David goes out, and David was greatly distressed, and the people spoke of stoning him, and every man and his sons and daughters. But David strengthened himself in the Lord. Then David attacked from the twilight to the evening, verse 17. I mean, David said, we got to go do this, boys. They even found a guy to help them, didn't they? Anybody read this? They found a guy to help them, right? See, because what? God provided someone who knew where they were. God knows where your problem is, and he knows where your solution is, and he knows how to take the solution and put it over the problem so it obliterates the problem. Somebody say, I got it. But I didn't quit. See, you don't want to quit. You know the biggest problem with quitting? You either got to start over or you can't get started. Right or wrong? I'm not going to ask how many of you have quit the gym. See, come on. If we had all the gym memberships that people pay and don't use, we would never have to receive another offering for any group, anywhere, because we join them and don't go to them. Who's here? Listen, when you get to my age, they give you the gym for free. Even the free people don't go. It doesn't matter free or pay. They don't show. They just sign me up. Keep the money coming in. See, but they quit. And once you quit it, I'm telling you, even when I have to drag myself to the gym and do just some light workouts, do something, I walk in the door, I've got my clothes on. I'm not just there to talk to people. Who's hearing me? Because otherwise you want to quit. Then you missed a day, right? Then you missed 2 days. Then you don't remember how many days you missed. But you know one thing, you're not going back because I quit. We're so bad at quitting the gym, we don't even quit paying, we just quit going. You know why we keep paying? Because we want to fool ourselves that we didn't quit. What happened with David? What happened with David? They got everything back. They got how much back? Every human being, every piece of jewelry, every piece of furniture, every chariot, everything they had, everything that was removed, everything that was taken, it was all returned, 100%. Not a man, a woman, a child, a thing, nothing was lost. Do not quit. Everybody had quit. Everybody's mad except one guy. And he wanted to quit, I promise you. Come on, I've been that one guy. You want to quit. But somebody's got to keep working. Somebody's got to keep standing. Who's hearing me tonight? See, don't quit. Don't quit. We could have quit after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. That family could have quit when she had stage 4 cancer written all over her. This was not some false diagnosis. By the way, they beat that thing. By the way, she's still alive today. By the way, God is faithful. Are you hearing me? So whatever you're going through is nothing. You can do it. Say, I can do it. You can do it. You know why you can do it? Because you have God with you. And you had God with you the last time, even if you weren't saved. There's so many things God took me through when I wasn't saved. And I made it. How much more is he there, right? Because I'm conscious. At least I'm conscious now. Well, I think David was great. I think we have the victory. But you see, even as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you don't think you can, then you can't. If you don't, what do you say? I can't do this anymore. Help me out here. I can't do this anymore. Then you do what? You've already quit. You're just trying to talk yourself into walking through the motions of what you've already done. Ladies and gentlemen, don't quit. But I didn't quit. Right? Say, I'm not quitting. I refuse to be overwhelmed. I insist on winning. I insist on doing what's right. I will make it. I have made it. I cannot be defeated. I'm on the victory side. I'm telling you, you're a winner. But you have to insist on your status. Who has to insist? Come on, you've had people encourage you. You've encouraged people. It didn't work, did it? Not until I chose. It doesn't matter what my wife says. Come on, Bill, you can do it. Come on, Bill. Come on, Bill. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I know I can't do it. I know. You think I can do it. You're wrong. I know I can't do it. No, you can do it. Say, I can do it. I can do it. Listen, shake it off. Get rid of the thought. Don't allow it. Quit saying you're overwhelmed. Quit saying you can't do it. That's when you have to come back and quote the word, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. See, you have to bring it back to the word, because if you look at your circumstances, we're crumpling. Come on. What we're crumpling under today is nothing compared to what we stood through before. True or false? It's absolutely true. And so don't be lied to. Don't be deceived. Don't be fooled. Don't be tricked. Don't be conned. Don't be lied to. State the facts. I can. I can. Right? I can. I can what? Do all things. I can do all things. I can make it. I can make it. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I have the victory. I'm breaking through. I'm going through. I've got it done. I've won. I'm a champion. I refuse to quit. I insist on winning. I will not be fooled. I will not be faked out. I am a winner. I have the victory. I will not quit. Amen.